And I was going through my mom notes. She had a diary. I had a lot of feelings, mixed feelings, growing up. So at 11 years old, I found out that my mom is a poet, a secret poet, because she didn't want anybody to know about this book.
When you were writing your poetry book, what was the thought going through your mind? And what was it like for you? This is your very first time writing a book. You've never done it before. I don't know if you had someone that's done it before in your family or in your group of friends, but what was it? Have you like did you have like a mentor that had written a poetry book before and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna write a poetry book, I'm gonna publish mine too? Or you were just like, you know what, no one has ever done this and I'm just going to do it.
So when I was 11 years old, I was being noisy and I was going through my mom notes. She had a diary. And I was going through it because I found it. So at 11 years old, I found out that my mom is a poet, a secret poet, because she didn't want anybody to know about this book. She actually, I didn't get the best of her when she found out that I read this book actually. But I found out that she actually wrote poems about me and how what it actually felt, to her about, having me such a very young age. So I was like, wow. At this age, I was like, I didn't know that I'm this special to my mom, because she never really made it known, you know. So actually, when I write my own poems, yes, she is the not the behind story on every poem, but I write about her. But it's all this. I had a lot of feelings, mixed feelings, growing up. Because I did not grow up with my father. Most of the time, I wasn't with my mother. So I grew up for the most part, with my grandmother or my aunts. So I had a lot of like anger growing up. A lot of mixed feelings that I still remember. What those, I cannot explain them. It's not something that I can explain, but it is like such deep feelings that I'm like, oh, what is this? I want to get this out. This is so deep. So I actually write about that, those feelings that you know I felt deep down, my guts, my heart, all these abstract feelings, that they don't have an explanation, just like abstract art, for example.
Yeah, I know. It feels like this high octane fuel that just
Yes.
charges you, and you're like, you know what? I get that feeling too sometimes, and immediately I'm like, you know what? Let me channel this into my writing. Let me channel this into something. And I typically, yeah, understand the feeling that you just described, and just channeling all that energy, all the feeling, all the emotion into just your creativity. I think it's one of the best thing anyone can feel. You know, the feeling of anger. I A lot of people say anger is not good. That's true, but to me, I think it's so good if you know how to channel it. It's not like
Yes.
being angry at people. When you're feeling, to me, when I'm feeling this intense anger, I'm like, good, let's get something done. And then you see me writing, I could just stay writing for the next 5 hours because there's something boiling inside me. And I know this is energy, and I know that I can't put this to waste. So instead of, you see some other people go out and fight other people, the creative ones will sit down and just channel it and just use it to bring out something deeply creative from themselves. And I think that's one thing that I picked up from what you just described now.
You know, I never, I not always knew how to channel my anger. Sometimes I wanted to fight people, you know,
Okay.
but when I actually learned how to use that, you know, on my favor, that anger, you know, I used to thrive for, you know, what's the next big thing that I have to do next, you know. What can I get done now? How can I make it better? What can I achieve now? You know, so when I actually learned how to channel that anger for, you know, for the best and on my favor, it was one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah,